I want your vote, and I want your vote based on this thought. When Stephen illustrates, perhaps a little bit over the top with the North Korean explanation, but when he illustrates, what he's talking about is the inability of California to change its institutions. They're not doomed, they are bankrupt. They are functionally bankrupt. And the inability to change is because there are supermajorities in the state legislature, and this occurs in New York and in Massachusetts and in other doomed blue states to bankruptcy, doomed to bankruptcy. Illinois, I loved your Simpsons.
Hugh, why is that their blue stateness?
Because they've done deals with public employee unions that cannot be paid for. They've written checks that cannot be paid for except 3 generations down the road. There are scores, hundreds, thousands of 6-figure retirees at the age of 50 in California, Governor, and I'm sure you can speak to this. It wasn't your fault. You inherited a lot of it, but you got prison guards walking around at 6 figures that people have to pay for, and the lifespan. And Michael, one quick response. We don't have to worry about those uninsured, right? Didn't Obamacare fix that?
Michael Lind.
Actually, Obamacare...
They can't get on the system. They could log on.
Let's hear from Michael Lind.
Well, I'm not here as a partisan Democrat or a defender of the president. I am a defender of the interests of the ordinary people of the red states who are overwhelmingly working class and poor. What we have heard from Stephen is that if you are a wealthy enough person to be concerned about progressive income taxation, it's better to live in a red state. If you're a business whose business model is not based on R&D, and it's also not a locally based thing like Starbucks that has to be done there, but it's a footloose business that depends on non-union labor, like labor-intensive chicken plucking, for example. In that case, you'd be better off in a southern red state than in a northern or western blue state. I agree. That's why Arkansas leads the world in labor-intensive chicken plucking. But that is not your typical 21st century business.
Let me take something...
One more point about the taxes.
Yeah.
If you were poor in Texas, you pay 12% of your income in taxes because Texas, like other southern states, relies heavily on regressive regressive property and sales taxes. If you're rich in Texas, you pay 3%. Now, what kind of society is it where the poor people pay 4 times as much of their income as the rich people? It's a libertarian ideal if you want to get rid of all taxes on the rich and on inheritances and have nothing but a flat tax. But that has a cost, too, in addition to housing.